Drop the mic, PTM. We're live with Tim and Tom. It's not often that we get to talk about our favorite teams, the Jets and Giants, in one of these primetime games. It seems like Dave's Chiefs are always in these marquee spots, but we actually have back-to-back Thursday nights to talk about our squads, with the Jets playing last week and Big Blue playing tomorrow. But before we dive into the NFC East matchup against the Cowboys, today's podcast, as always, is presented by Props.Cash. We've teamed up with Props.Cash once again this season because, like I always say, we 100% cannot do what we do without Props.Cash. So if you think you're ready to level up your prop betting game, use code PTM at signup to get 25% off your first month. Also, big shout out to the PTM Discord, where you can get all of our VIP picks by joining today using the same PTM discount code for 25% off. What's up, Tim? You feeling good about your Giants tomorrow night, coming off that nice win against the Browns on Sunday?
Yeah, like I talked about in the last show, I went from, just typical fandom where your team's falling apart and then you see one good stretch and you're like, all right, we're going Super Bowl.
That's
So
it.
I don't know if we're all the way there. All I know is Malik Neighbors is for real. Brian Burns was a menace on defense. I think that was a massive offseason signing that kind of got overshadowed by us not signing Saquon, which I'm definitely not over. So I feel good about them. I don't know that I'm taking them. I'm not messing with them to win, but these two teams fight each other often, and the Giants have beat them when they shouldn't, and vice versa many, many times over the years. Eli was the first quarterback to win. They beat him in their home stadium, and he signed the wall. So there's just this slight Giants ownership of Dallas that I enjoy.
Yeah. It should be good. Dallas looking down, Giants looking up. So we're gonna get the opposite.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But more importantly, tonight, my team, the Columbus Crew, plays against Club America here at home in the Campeones Cup, which is the winner of Liga MX, their top flight soccer, and the winner of MLS, which we did last year. So that is what I'm most excited about. There's some picks in that if you can find it. I spent some time trying to find it on books here in Ohio, and it was not there. But I'll give some out at the end after we cover football for the other football.
All right, sounds good.
Very excited.
Let's jump right in here.
Can we start somewhere weird? I told you I had some facts.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we start off hot?
Of course. Let's just let me intro the game and then bring me some weird goodness right after that. Just to recap, we got the Cowboys coming into New York to play the Giants, or into New Jersey to play the Giants. Giants are plus 5.5 at home. Total is 45.5 in this game. That's all. Let's bring up the Props.Cash screen here, and then Tim will regale us with
just go straight to Dan Johnson.
All right.
I'm not out on him. Let's talk about another player. I got a little trivia for you.
Okay.
There's a player playing tomorrow. This narrows it for you. That has scored more fantasy points than Stephon Diggs, Marvin Harrison, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. The list goes on and on. Most of the wide receiver ones and RB ones, there is a player playing tomorrow that has outscored all of them. Can you guess who that is?
Is it Devin Singletary?
No, it is Brandon Aubrey, the greatest kicker to ever play in the NFL. He was an MLS guy, a soccer player.
Oh, yeah?
NFL. And what he is doing right now, outscoring, and when I say he's beating Tyreek Hill, I'm not talking like barely. Like he is absolutely destroying. I happen to have him on my fantasy team, which is wonderful. He's scored 49 fantasy points. For reference, Amon-Ra St. Brown has 47. There's 10 quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers has 44. Mahomes has 44. And it just, the list goes on and on and on.
Wow.
So here's the thing. I want to hammer Brandon Aubrey tonight, but I started looking into the Giants this year. The Giants have had 3 kickers face them, 2 of which one didn't attempt a field goal, one only attempted one. But when they played Austin Seibert with Washington, he made 7 field goals, attempted 7, made 7. They didn't score. They're the first team to ever lose without giving up a touchdown, not in overtime. So not a great stat that you want to be grabbing. But him 6.5 kicking points tonight. Oh, it went up to 7.5. I feel like him 6.5 kicking points tonight was an area that I was really, really focusing on, or 2 field goals. The Giants are at home. They're playing against the division rival, longtime rival. I think that they make some stops, and I think at the end of the first half, depending on who gets a ball, there's a good chance we get a deep Aubrey field goal, which he casually kicked a 65-yarder in the first quarter. Not a game winner, just casual, sent him out there first quarter and
65 yards.
The dude is for real. So he's something I'm really, again, as a Giants fan, this hurts. The 6.5 is where I snagged it. It looks like it's 7.5. It even went up to 8.5 on Sleeper.
Yeah.
So maybe consider him instead of kicking points, the 2 field goals. Yeah. The man
field goals feels pretty good these weird Thursday night games.
And it's over 1.5, which if you follow the Discord, that's like the soccer bet of when we find games that are high scoring. So I know Read the Green will love that little 1.5.
There we go.
But I really wanted to show how much he is dominating this year and outscoring like stud number ones at
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow. All right.
I'm winning my leagues. 2 of my leagues I am in first place, and that is a lot to do with my kicker. So yeah, that will be my first one, is him over 1.5 field goals. If you could find him 6.5 kicking points, that gives us an extra point or an additional field goal, obviously. So I like the 1 touchdown, not 2. Yeah, look at those. Dude, wild. It's got to come back to earth, or maybe not. I hope not.
That's not where I expected to start, but yeah, I love it. Kicking prop to start off the podcast. I think that might be a first in the history of PTM.
You know what you
so
were
congratulations, Tim.
Yeah, you knew what was coming.
All right. Anything else for Aubrey here, or are we?
Nothing else for Aubrey, but just keep him in mind with legs of other plays. I know there's 2 different no sweats out there. I think his -130, -140 range stuff could be a nice little boost to get you up over into those no sweat numbers.
Nice. All right, let's move over. Let's talk about your boy Danny Dimes.
I love it.
So I'm not sure what's going on with these screens here. Where
go from click out of the 20, click into those and then back in. There's like a little glitch I'm finding when you go to the 24 season. It'll like switch back.
Okay, there we go. Missing a couple there. I'm just gonna work last time when I refresh the screen. We'll do that. All right. Let's talk about Mr. Daniel Jones, your quarterback with the Giants. Dave's always like when Dave's on because he's the Duke boy. But
yeah,
I'm looking at his rush yards here. I like it so it's moved up a little bit. Had it at 30.5 on FanDuel last night. It's up to 31.5 now. I like this. Dallas has the 3rd highest quarterback pressure rate this season. We're getting info here that it's a bug on the kicker screens. That's probably why I've never seen it before, because I typically don't look at kicker props. So that's why it was a new one for me there. All right. No worries. So back to Daniel Jones, the 3rd highest quarterback pressure rate Dallas has this season. So I think Danny Dimes will be forced to run a bit. If you look at what some of the other quarterbacks done so far this season, Lamar Jackson, 87 yards on a line of 55.5. Deshaun Watson, 39 on a line of 20.5. Even Taysom Hill got involved a little bit for 18 rush yards there. So I like that. If you look at last season, 43 rushing yards against Dallas in that September game last season. And if we look at some of the trends so far, Dallas has allowed the 3rd most quarterback rush attempts, the 2nd most quarterback rush yards. So how you feeling about Danny Dimes running the ball tomorrow?
I love it, and you said it perfectly. I don't. This is kind of like we had a quarterback rush last week that was not because of their legs; it was because he's going to get chased. And like you said, I think Micah Parsons in that pretty brutal line is going to come in, and so he'll either release quickly or pull and run. I was looking at the 5.5 or 6.5 rushing attempts.
Mhm.
That's something I really liked. And even Derek Carr, the one quarterback who didn't hit his line, he had one
Mhm.
carry for a touchdown. So
Yes.
I'm looking at Danny Dimes. I'm looking at if you can find 5.5 rush attempts. Let me double check. MGM still has it at 5.5. I
It looks like I just refreshed this. It looks like it might be up to 6.5 everywhere.
Damn it. Both of
But
my picks
yeah.
so far have gone up since. So maybe you should join the Discord. But yeah, 5.5. I even like 6.5, honestly. I like the 6.5 there. You saw the attempts that the other quarterbacks have given. You saw the yards they got. I was looking at him 25 yards to kind of use as a line or
Yeah.
like a builder because it's not that far off, gives you a little bit of insurance.
Yeah.
But he will be scrambling for his life and throwing to Malik Neighbors. So at even money on 5.5 or 6.5, I feel pretty good about that. I think we're in a Jane Daniels situation from Monday night where unfortunately he kneeled down and took us below 40 to 39 yards, but he covered his attempts with no problem. So the
Yeah.
yards have me a little bit. If he runs the ball 7 times, he's going to get 25 yards.
So he hasn't run fewer than 5 times in the first 3 games of this season. If we look at him, if we're talking about builder leg and you want to bring him down to 25, when he's rushed the ball a minimum of 5 times, he's cleared 25 plus rush yards in 70% of his games going back to the 2021 season. So I think that's a nice leg to a builder if you wanted to have Daniel Jones 25 plus rush yards.
Is he at 30 or 31 on straight?
It's up to looks like it's up to 31.5 now
Yeah,
in most books. Yeah. Last night when I got it in, it was 30.5, but it's creeping up a little bit. So I guess that's a positive sign. People are feeling like he's going to be using his legs tomorrow, I bet. Let's talk about the other guy that's going to be running the ball for the Giants. Devin Singletary. I like this for a few reasons. I like his rushing yards tomorrow. The Giants have the 4th best run block win rate. So playing behind some decent offensive line play there. What I also like is Singletary has 6 rushes this season of 10 plus yards. 15% of his carries have gone for 10 or more yards. That's tied for 8th best among running backs. And then we compare that to Dallas, who've allowed 13 rushes of 10 plus yards. That's tied for the most in the league through 3 games. So they're giving up some big explosive plays to running backs. If we look at what some of the comps have done, look at that. Derrick Henry, 151 rush yards on a line of 68.5.
He did okay.
Yeah. Kamara, 115 on a line of 49.5. Henry had 25 attempts in this game. Kamara had 20 attempts in this game.
Those are both running backs going over in both games. Like both running backs covered their line. Those are There's 4 running backs there, but that's 2 games, not 4 games.
Yeah. Henry and Hill both went over. Williams and Kamara both went over. So if we look at Singletary, his attempt line is 14.5. If we look at what he's done rushing wise when he gets 14 carries, remember Henry 25 carries in Sunday's game against Baltimore. Kamara 20 carries in that game. If we look at Singletary, 14 attempts. Remember, his line's 14.5. That's a nice little chart there. He's gone over in 16 of his last 17 games when he gets 14 plus carries, averaging 87.3 yards. I think the Giants are going to look to just slam this slam the ball down the throat of the Dallas Cowboys and go to Singletary. He's had a pretty good season so far. You like Singletary here in this spot?
I do. The only concern as a longtime Giants fan is the potential for just a shit show and Dallas getting up and they need to throw. He's involved at the games within 10, maybe 13, 14, but I think if it gets too crazy, they're going to have to spread and throw the ball a lot. So his receptions are coming out of the backfield. Maybe if him getting chased is kind of what I would look at. If we still had an Evan Ingram or a Darren Waller, that's where I'd be looking. But like this team really has it's an odd makeup when they're throwing the ball. So he could easily be targeted for receptions. I don't hate him to get 40 rushing yards at all, but for his full line, I think or the attempts, I just think it could get out of hand. Dallas scores first and then gets up by 14. We start freaking out.
Yeah, so I hear you. That's why I like this as a builder piece here. 40 plus yards at minus 340 is a nice leg to a builder. If you look at just when he's had just 11 or more rush attempts, 27 of his last 30 games, 90% hit rate on 40 plus yards.
I'm all in on that one.
Yeah, I think you can use that that's a great leg to a builder to throw in there. I also think his anytime touchdown is nice. So far this season against the Cowboys, Derrick Henry ran in 2. Kamara ran in 3. He also had another one receiving. Jerome Ford had 1. So every running back has had at least 1 to face them. Lamar Jackson ran 1 in. Derek Carr ran 1 in. They're running in a lot of touchdowns against this Cowboys team. So I think Singletary, anytime touchdown, you can get it for plus 110. Now it's down to plus 105 on FanDuel, but even money for a Singletary touchdown. You could see that happening.
Yeah, I was thinking a long shot of Danny Dimes just kind of pounding one in, just like Dak did last week, like Derek Carr did to him. I could see him sneaking. He has not been Danny Dimes a touchdown scorer this year, so you could probably get him. Wow. Oh, first touchdown, 1,600. He's plus 300 on FanDuel right now. I thought it'd be longer than that. Yeah. First touchdown, 1,600. Maybe that's worth a little. Little smack. I don't know.
It's been a while since he's gotten into the end zone there, but yeah.
Yes.
The other one I liked, one more for Singletary, just because I love the explosive plays that the Cowboys have been giving up. Remember, what was it? 13 rushes of 10 plus yards this season, tied for most in the NFL. His long rush line is not there we go. Singletary, 14.5 on DraftKings. If you look this season, 40, he had a 43-yard rush against Cleveland, 22 against Washington. If you look against Dallas, Derrick Henry, 29. Justice Hill, 17. Kamara, 15. He's had 16. Let's look here. 16 plus on a long rush in 8 of his last 10 games. Let's go right here. Look at that. So I think he is in a good spot to break one off tomorrow. If we look at him, I was looking at him at 11 plus rush attempts, 77% hit rate. That's 23 of his last 30 games. 14 plus rush attempts, 15 of his last 17, 88% hit rate. I'm not going to fiddle with this stuff here, but I think that's another play. I think they're going to be feeding him the ball tomorrow.
Yeah. I hope so.
Unless, like you said, unless the Cowboys get up early, but I don't know. Cowboys are not very good in my opinion. So,
will you click on his TD real quick? His anytime?
Yeah. What do you want to
say? This year, he's 2 for 3 this year, right?
2 for 3, yeah. His last 2 games. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking it was the other way around, and that his kneel down stopped him. So when he said on the goal line, that was his stopping him from his second touchdown.
Yeah, true. Good point.
I wonder if people had 2 TDs.
Ooh, that would have been rough. Yeah.
Tough. I wonder what Malik 2 TDs, him 2 TDs would look like. That might be fun.
That would be
Now I'm
very
just
fun.
becoming a hopeful Giants fan.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of hopeful Giants fans, no one bringing more hope to Giants fans than Malik Neighbors.
Yes.
Let's pull. This guy is just the Giants struck gold with this pick, huh?
Yeah, you got to give them credit. As much as they fucked up Saquon, they did a great job with Malik. I just don't know why you wouldn't want to pair the two of them together.
Yeah, I know.
Seems like he would have been pretty good for Saquon and vice versa.
You'd think so. You'd think so. This line is moving up dramatically. I got it last night at 67.5 on FanDuel. It says up to 70.5 on FanDuel now. DraftKings 71. Dallas, part of the reason why I feel like this is getting some upward movement here. Dallas has allowed the third most yards per target, the second most yards after completion, the most yards after contact to opposing wide receivers. And Malik Neighbors is pretty good in that department. He has the third most yards after completion in the league this season, 127 yards. That's 5.5 per reception. He also has the seventh most yards after contact, 42 yards. That's 1.8 yards. So he's pretty good in the areas where the Cowboys are pretty bad.
Love that.
So I think even at 70 yards, I could see this going over. He's averaging 12.3 targets per game. Like I said, remember the Cowboys are giving up the third most yards per target at 10.5. So you multiply 12.3 times 10.5. That's 129 yards, people. He's averaging 7.7 receptions per game. Cowboys are giving up 14.3 yards per reception. You multiply those two, that gets you to 110 yards. We feel like we could see an explosion from Malik and have another one of these 100-plus games.
Yes, I think it's time. I think it's time for another breakout, or I was gonna say a breakout, but that 127. Yeah, I really like his receptions in this game, but I think that a 100-yard, a 90 minimum, if he gets his catches, I think he's at 90 yards. In a sneaky way, he had 2 carries last game, so I think rushing and receiving, if you can get that like 100 plus, it might boost you another 5 or 6 yards if he gets to like 95, and the rushing puts you over.
Interesting.
Yeah, but what you said, I'm right on board with you. Look at his receptions. His receptions are insane. His targets are insane. 12 times. He's 100% our second coming of Odell, where he's doing that slant, catch the ball, and then run. Odell was the king of the 6-yard grab, take it to the house.
Yep.
I think they're going to be doing that because they're going to be coming to kill Daniel Dimes, and so I think he'll be dumping it off to him. They don't have, no offense to Bellinger or anybody, but like they don't really have that tight end, and I think they're going to be really targeting him. He's the guy.
He is the guy, and guy's just a beast. So I love his ability to make things happen after he grabs the ball, and you can see Dallas is really struggling defensively in that area. So
if not able to stop
yeah.
the pass, that's for sure. Do
And-
something real quick before we switch over. Will you just go to just this game? Like if you hit that little arrow next to receptions, back to the whole game, like all of the receivers, that top left right above the M, go to just this game, and then just go to receiving yards. And I want you to see, you're on receptions. You see it there. See all the green here, the projected difference.
Yeah.
And then go to yards. Every data point is calling this game a passing game. So you go to just the yards. Everything is the difference.
Look at that.
It's insane. So according to props.cash, who we love and trust, and a lot of other data sources, people are leaning on these overs. So if it goes according to that, I think you could build some pretty long shots that have a chance to hit. I'm going the reception route though. So I have Neighbors at 5+ receptions. Playing safe. I have him in builders with that, or have him in a builder with that. I really like him, Jake Ferguson, and CeeDee Lamb. Unfortunately, I got a 4-5 or a 3-4-5, I believe. That's what I have. Of 3 Jake Ferguson receptions, 4 to CeeDee Lamb, 5 to Malik. and
100% hit rates this season on all those.
Yes, and that's why I'm scared, because it's such a good bet that I feel like the NFL is going to find a way to fuck it up. But I love it. It's plus money, and with the boost, I think I got it to like plus 136 or something like that. And it's about even money. I think it was minus 109 or 110 when I put it in, and then the boost took it like 136. That is my absolute favorite. The three of them are going to be involved. I like to smack stuff like that and not sweat. So that's kind of my foundation. And I'm going to build some crazy shit on top of that.
Love that. We are on the same page on all three of those guys. I looked at them. I know you've been leaning more receptions. I was looking at them in the yards. Nice. So I think if we look at Neighbors yards, you can get him at 60 plus receiving yards for minus 178. So a great leg to ability to see 66 in his first game of his career. 60 seems really nice for him. I think the other way you could look at this, if you didn't want to do the receptions, CeeDee Lamb at 60 plus receiving yards. That's a little bit juicier at minus 260. You put the two of those together, Neighbors and Lamb, 60-60. That's plus 110 on FanDuel. Thought that was a nice two-legger. CeeDee is also 3 for 3 this season, going over 60 yards. And if you look at what receivers have done against the Giants, Amari Cooper torched them for 86. Justin Jefferson just a hair short. He only had 4 receptions in that game, if you remember, 59 yards on 4 receptions. So I think that's another good look. And then the other guy you mentioned, Jake Ferguson, I actually like his straight up his straight line of 41.5. So obviously I'd like his you put him at 25 plus receiving yards, or like you said, 3 plus receptions. Those are nice for him. But I think he's also good at his straight line of 41.5. Is it still 41? Moving up a little bit, 42.5 on FanDuel now. He had 7 targets in both games against the Giants last season. He had 11 targets against Baltimore on Sunday.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, look at
tight ends coming back, dude. I love to see it.
Look at these tight ends against the Giants.
He missed a game, so that was
he didn't play in the first game.
From injury, and he had 95 yards in all his targets. So that's not stopping. He's coming fully back in.
Yeah, and then look at what these tight ends. You had Jordan Akins on Cleveland, 29 yards. He was 4 catches on 7 targets. Zach Ertz, 62 yards. That was 4 catches on 4 targets. He was 4 for 4. And then the two Minnesota tight ends, Munt was 2 for 3 for 15 yards. Oliver was 2 for 2 for 27 yards. So tight ends have been a place you can target the Giants. They've allowed the 6th most yards per target, 9th most yards per reception, 6th most air yards per target. So loving Jake Ferguson in this spot. Great builder leg, and also love him straight up.
If you go just for fun, if you go 100 plus on Malik and CeeDee and 40 plus on him, you get like a plus 1370, which is there is a no sweat tonight. And I mean a 1370 for players. The downside there would be CeeDee, I think, are like the least likely, even though Malik Neighbors is plus 255 to hit 100. I think this is a game where he can do that. So I'm not going to smash that yet, but just putting the 3 of those together, give them all a touchdown, things start to get crazy.
Yeah, 151 yards.
I think Jake Ferguson scores a touchdown tonight for sure.
Oh yeah, all right, yes, I like that.
If they're anywhere inside, like at the 20, just red zone area, maybe 20 to 25, he'll have a seam up the middle where they're paying too much attention to Turpin, who's turned on lately. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb, and then they've got Brandon Cooks, who is sneaky fast in the end zone. I think they're going to overload on them, and he'll just right down the middle and be too big. They'll toss it over. I've seen it a million times against the Giants. Tight end seam right down the middle, scores. They should have had it the other day, and he did score. I believe he scored in that last game, right? Or did he? They missed the target for him. Did he score the last game?
Let's see. Not the last game. The game against
look at that against the Giants.
Oh, that's CD. You talking about CD?
No, I'm talking about Jake Ferguson.
Ferguson,
Yeah. Tight end seam.
Where is he? There we go. No. Well, last season against the Giants, he did.
Yeah. I think he gets in tonight. So that's just a little side mission if you want to party.
Side mission. There we go. All right, I got one more. Uncle Rico. I like his receiving yards. It wouldn't be a Prop the Mic podcast without some running back receptions to discuss. The Giants have allowed the 7th most receiving yards per target to running backs, the 5th most receiving yards per reception. They've allowed over 10 receiving yards per reception to opposing running backs. You see Rico's snap count consistently in the mid 40s, whereas Zeke trending downwards this way. So I think, you can expect similar output from him because he's been so consistent. He's had, look at that, 5 targets in each of his last 2 games, having 4 and 3 receptions in those 2 games. And I just love to look here at what the running backs have done. Jerome Ford, 33 receiving yards on a line of 15.5. Austin Eckler, 47 on 17.5. And in the first game of the season, both Minnesota running backs, 15 for Aaron Jones on a line of 13.5, and Ty Chandler, 25 on a line of 6.5. Dowdle's line is 12.5 minus 113 on FanDuel. I think this is also a nice spot for him to get 13 receiving yards.
His 2.5 receptions is plus 136. They don't have an alt on this.
I know. I love the alt. I've been waiting for them to post that to give us the alt receptions, the 2 receptions for Uncle Rico. Mm-hmm. But it's not there yet. But keep an eye out for it because it's not if you look at the trend dating back to last season, but I think this is a new season. Love what he's done those last 2 games, those 10 targets he's getting from Dak over the last 2 games. So love that. That's all I got. You got anything else?
I want to do something in the Discord, but tell me first, pick one player from each team like that year would be if you had to pick who's going to score tonight, just straightforward. Anytime touchdown.
Let's go Singletary.
That feels pretty safe.
And let's go Jake Ferguson.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I have Neighbors and Jake Ferguson. And then the long shot is Kevontae Turpin, who scored against the Giants, who has scored twice this year, I believe, and is sneaking out the same way that I think Jake Ferguson's going to. I think he's plus 650. Didn't he score? Yeah, that's Dowdle. Man, I miss when Rico Dowdle 1 reception was a thing. Last year I could grab him all the time on 365, like 1 reception minus 110, and it was the easiest. Okay, so he scored last week. I think he had a target in the end zone that either dropped or got called back. I could see him. He scored his only game against the Giants. I could see him being a threat. I don't want him to because I'm a Giants fan, but just being realistic at plus 650, that feels like kind of a long shot. 3
red zone targets against the Giants in that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we had Xavier McKinney too, who's now doing really well at football, other places like we like to do for the Giants. God damn, if we had McKinney and sorry, this is just going to be a Tim in his misery. But I think I'm going to put a little thing together with some touchdowns because I feel like there's going to be scoring tonight, and I think it's going to be Jake Ferguson and Singletary or Neighbors for sure. So I just want to get that. We should put a little poll in the Discord and see who everybody thinks. Make them pick one from each team and just see what they say.
Maybe I like that. Let's do that. That sounds good. Remember, it is Thursday night though, so we always have high hopes for lots of scoring.
True. I got to get my hopes.
And then Friday rolls around and we always seem to be a little disappointed. But hopefully that's not the case this time, especially all those like you said, all those hit rates showing, big projected differences. A lot of green there. So maybe we get some nice overs, a bunch of overs this time around. That'd be nice. So
would love that.
Yeah. All right. Nice work, Tim. I see a question just popped up on Twitter here. How do I join the Discord? You can go right to our homepage on X there, and there's a link you can click to join the Discord. So,
and then enjoy watching the greatest kicker potentially of all time kick field goals against my team. You gotta respect and enjoy greatness when it's there.
Yeah. So don't forget about Aubrey.
He might break the record for a long. He might kick a 70-yarder.
That'd be awesome.
Who knows?
All right. Good luck tomorrow, Tim, with your Giants. All right. Nice work. Let's lock these in, and let's all make some money tomorrow.
Hell yeah.